All right, welcome to News 6 Extra. I am Christopher Heath. It is Friday, September 19th. We made it to another Friday. I yesterday was lamenting that it felt like this week was taking way too long, but we're getting to the end of it. Now we're here. We've arrived. Kathleen, we have made it. It's a Friday.
We made it. We made it.
We did. Well, yes. And a couple more hours in the old shifteroo, and then the weekend starts. Any good weekend plans cooking up?
Not really. I'm just going to get caught up on some things around my house and, maybe do some more fall decorating. But nothing really major. Maybe binge watch something, just kind of a nice, relaxing weekend.
There you go. We're bringing back the story we didn't have yesterday, and this is on Halloween costs because it's costing more to do Halloween. We'll talk about that a little bit later in the show. Michelle Morgan and I were chatting before we began about Halloween costumes. And so have you got anything percolating yet for ideas?
For me?
Yes.
No, I typically don't dress up. However, I do dress my dog up.
I know. I'm well aware of that.
And she has her outfit all ready to go. She is going to be Jasmine from Aladdin.
Oh, I can show you the world.
Exactly. Maybe I can be the genie or something. Maybe I'll think about that.
Yeah, genie. I don't know. You could be the tiger.
Maybe.
Right.
That'd be easy to pull off. Yeah.
All right.
I got to think about it.
There you go. Do a little noodling on that. All right, Michelle, hop on in here. You and I were going over all of this before the show, and your family does like a whole dress-up thing. You were Ninja Turtles one year, and you were Gamora one year, and that's a lot of stuff.
Yeah, we go pretty hard, during the Halloween season. We love the theme. Well, for now, my son is still young, so, we're trying to squeeze as much out of him, trying to keep doing the theme thing going before he starts venturing out on his own.
Yeah. Mom, you guys are so boring. I'm going to go trick-or-treat on my own with my friends.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So, we're really excited about this year. He already has the theme picked out for us. I mean, I don't know the characters, but I'm going to try my best to put something together.
I've had a couple of years where our youngest, Ben, has come to the table with some obscure internet thing that he stumbled upon, and we're like, and what's weird is when you go trick-or-treating with them, other kids will see it and they're like, oh, that's so-and-so, and I'm like, how do you, like, I get it, I'm not hip and with it anymore, but still. So
yeah, YouTube is the big thing. There's a lot of characters, fan-made characters, and they're into that stuff. And for me, my generation, kind of out of the loop when it comes to things like that. So, I try to stay, I guess, the kids keep us young. So
yes,
keep us in the in.
For now. Okay. So on the weather front, what's the forecast look like for Halloween?
You know what? It's a little too early to give you a forecast.
You can't give me a 38-day forecast? What are you doing back there if you're not putting together a full month out?
I need to work a little harder, right? Yeah, that's a little too far away. But as soon as I find out, I will let you all know. How about that?
Please. All right. Okay. So more to the point, how are we looking for Friday Night Football and this weekend? Take us into that.
You know what? We're looking pretty good, Chris. You really couldn't ask for better weather. If you're not aware, fall is on our doorstep, knocking on the door. It's on Monday, and we have a little taste. We've been actually getting a really nice taste of fall with the cooler, less humid weather. Of course, we're in Florida, so it's still hot, but at least the humidity isn't, it's manageable at the moment. So for Friday Night Football at the high schools, looking pretty good. Minimal rain as we go through, again, the rest of the afternoon here, and this is because we have an area of low pressure way off to the east, and that's pulling in a little bit of that dry air from the north. It is breezy along our coastline, but because of that dry air filtering in, it should keep our rain chances low, not only today as we head into the weekend as well. So temperatures are comfortable as well. It's feeling fantastic out there. If you are heading out for lunch, we are in the 80s, 86 in Kissimmee, Orlando, Sanford, 84 in New Smyrna Beach, 85 in Daytona Beach, and Melbourne, Mico. Good afternoon to you all. You're at 85 degrees. Now it is gusty as we take a look at the winds out of the north and northeast generally between 15 to 22 miles per hour along our coastline. Again, those are the gusts. I have been looking at the winds sustained between 10 to 15 miles per hour. So it is going to stay somewhat breezy as we go through today. But I do want to show you the dew points. This measures the moisture content in the atmosphere. I mean, anytime you see upper 60s, you know it feels nice outside. When you're in that 75 to 80 degree range in terms of the dew points, it's miserable out there. You just want to stay inside because it's just so hot and humid. Your day planner, going to keep those rain chances low, but around that 20% mark. We're in the upper 80s this afternoon, staying mostly dry. Heading into the evening hours, we're at 84 degrees around 7, and I don't think there'll be any rain around. So a lot of those football games, kickoff is around that time. So I think we are good to go. Overnight conditions looking fantastic. Forecast highs, upper 80s in Sanford, DeLand, middle 80s in Daytona Beach, and lower 90s in Ocala, Wildwood, Claremont, and Leesburg. So timing things out here as we take a look at your clouds and rain forecast. Notice not a whole lot of rain popping up on our models. Maybe a stray shower out in Marion County around 6, 7 o'clock, but majority of the region staying nice and dry, all thanks to that dry air. And the weekend forecast looking even better. So I'll show you that coming up in a bit on the 7-day, but I do want to talk about what's happening here with the tropics, continuing to track a tropical storm Gabrielle a little bit. It is hanging over the central Atlantic, and latest data, it is going 50 miles per hour, moving to the west at 12 miles per hour. So it is moving at a pretty moderate speed, but the latest model data, it does show it continuing its northwesterly track as we go through the weekend, and it's going to continue to turn, eventually becoming a Category 1 hurricane as early as Sunday morning. And then we are looking at, I'm trying to move those out the way so you can see the track, and then by Monday morning becoming a Category 2 hurricane with winds of 100 miles per hour. Again, this track is for the center of the system. Bermuda can certainly feel some impacts out of Gabrielle when it slides to the east of them. And then it is going to continue just to jet to the north and west as we go through midweek. And it'll continue to weaken there. The great news is that it's really not expected to impact any land, especially over the United States. So we're looking pretty good there. Watching another spot emerging off the coast of Africa. It is just an area of disorganized showers and thunderstorms marked by my yellow X. As of the 8 a.m. tropical outlook from the National Hurricane Center, it's not going to do much in the next 2 days, 0%, but in the next 7 days, it's about a 20% in that area that is highlighted in yellow. So this looks like some slow development could happen as it continues to move to the west-northwest as we go through the next several days. And that's it. I'm not watching anything else. There are no tropical concerns for the Gulf or Central Florida or the East Coast. So that's great news there. Now, I'll leave you here with your 7-day forecast. Going to keep the 20% chance for showers and storms as we go through the weekend. The first day of fall is on Monday, going to increase those rain chances to 40% because the moisture increases. So we'll see some rain, some storms as we go through next week. And then temperatures will be a little bit on the warmer side of things, right where we need to be, though, for this time of the season in the lower 90s, Chris. So really not a bad forecast. Looking forward to the weekend. It's going to be a fun weekend.
You know it is, because there's 6 things to do. If only somebody could tell me what those
Yes.
6 are. We'll get to that in a little bit.
And I always tell you, you gotta watch it.
Gotta watch it. It's at the end of the show today. But then, and of course, you know it's fall in Florida because you saw the temperatures increasing as we get to the beginning of fall. Which, of course, why would they start to get cooler with the beginning of fall? They're going to get warmer because it's Florida.
Of course. I mean, that's how we do it in Florida.
Right. All right, Michelle, have a fantastic weekend, and I will be jotting down notes at the end of the newscast here for the 6 things to do. So thank you. All right.
Sounds
Obviously,
good. Bye, Chris.
thank you. All right. So we've been following for the last 2 days is the tragic death out at Epic Universe, getting some more information about the young man who lost his life on the roller coaster, as well as what the investigation is uncovering and really where it stands at this moment. Mark Lehman was out at the park this morning, really putting together what we've learned in the last 24 hours and what we are still trying to get answers on.
The medical examiner determined the manner of death to be an accident in this case, but investigators aren't confirming any other details, including if the 32-year-old had a pre-existing condition that could have posed a problem. Now, as the investigation continues, we're hearing from someone who was on the coaster when all of this happened.
Horrible what I see. I can't understand how that happens.
Maria Fernandez says she just finished riding Stardust Racers at Epic Universe Wednesday night when things took a frightening turn.
One girl started to say, help, help, help.
The ride came to a natural stop when she heard screaming behind her. When she got out, she saw 32-year-old Kevin Zavala slumped over. There appeared to be blood on his shirt, and staff were scrambling to pull the restraint off of him.
That was horrible. On that moment, I think that I have like attack panic.
The Orange County medical examiner released a statement saying Zavala died of multiple blunt impact injuries. His neighbors were shocked by the sudden passing.
I feel bad for him, for his family. I hope he's resting with God.
Universal released a statement saying in part, "We are devastated by this event and extend our sincerest sympathies to the guests' loved ones. We are fully committed to cooperating with this ongoing investigation. The attraction remains closed." The Florida Department of Agriculture and Consumer Services also tells us they had an investigator on scene here yesterday. Stardust Racers, meanwhile, remains closed, and at this point, it's unclear when it will reopen. In Orange County, outside Epic Universe, Mark Lehman, News 6.
And of course, we'll stay on top of this story today as more information is expected to come out about not just the investigation into the ride and the death, but also the latest on any kind of opening for the ride if it does reopen. One of the other stories we're keeping an eye on is the continued back and forth between ABC and the FCC. As you may be aware, the ABC is in the process of trying to acquire part of the NFL network, and some of this is going to require FCC approval, which is raising questions about ABC's decision to indefinitely suspend Jimmy Kimmel of Jimmy Kimmel Live, the show that was the late night show that, had drawn the ire of several people, including the Trump administration, amid comments that the host made in the wake of Charlie Kirk's assassination. And as Natalie Brand reports, this is continuing to draw outrage on both sides.
Demonstrators protested outside ABC headquarters, and late-night hosts rallied around one of their own after ABC indefinitely suspended Jimmy Kimmel Live.
Tonight, we are all Jimmy Kimmel.
We have another fun, hilarious, administration-compliant show.
While some hosts were sarcastic, late-night legend David Letterman was more blunt.
You can't go around firing somebody because you're fearful or trying to suck up to an authoritarian.
Kimmel's suspension came after this comment Monday.
We hit some new lows over the weekend with the MAGA gang desperately trying to characterize this kid who murdered Charlie Kirk as anything other than one of them and doing everything they can to score political points from it.
The remarks angered FCC head Brendan Carr, who told CNBC on Thursday he'll continue to hold broadcasters accountable to the public interest.
We're in the midst of a massive shift in dynamics in the media ecosystem for lots of reasons. Again, including the permission structure that President Trump's election has provided. And I would simply say we're not done yet.
Speaking to reporters on his way back from the UK, President Trump even suggested revoking broadcast licenses for networks that cover him negatively.
They give me only bad publicity or press. I mean, they're getting a license. I would think maybe their license should be taken away.
CBS legal contributor Jessica Levinson.
Revoking a license is a nuclear option, and you cannot do it based on, I don't like what you said.
The FCC's own website says the First Amendment and the Communications Act expressly prohibit the commission from censoring broadcast matter. Our role in overseeing program content is very limited. Natalie Brand, CBS News, the White House.
Really, where the FCC gets the power to regulate broadcast is because it is over the air. It is because broadcast, traditional broadcast, when we think about like the antenna that's actually putting out a signal, it operates within a wavelength spectrum. And there's only so much of that spectrum that exists. It's just a fact that you can only go from so many megahertz here to here. That's the spectrum that broadcasters operate in with the actual broadcast itself. And because you only get so much of the spectrum, it is considered a common good. It is kind of like we consider our beaches here. It belongs to all of us. Well, because of that, the FCC chops it up and basically licenses it out. But in exchange for that, broadcasters have to agree to participate in the common good. It is why broadcasters are obligated to do certain things that, benefit the community. Everything from providing, weather alerts when there's a tornado warning in the area to covering information that is of local importance. Because again, you're being given a chunk of the spectrum with which you can broadcast. You also need to then do something with it that helps out the community. So that is really where the FCC gets its power to regulate broadcast in the traditional sense of broadcast. Obviously, in this day and age, a lot of broadcasters are in all sorts of places that don't require that spectrum. And so it will be interesting to see how much power the FCC has going forward, especially as broadcasters diversify the way they deliver their news to you. For example, this program here is going out over the internet, not over the airwaves. It's a brave new world we're in. All right, we'll be right back. All right, welcome back to News 6 Extra. I am Christopher Heath. Where am I? It's kind of more of a philosophical question. Where am I? Realistically, I am currently off of John Young Parkway inside WKMG's newsroom, but this is a more pointed question for people in one specific part, not so philosophical, more actual logistical for people in one specific part of Central Florida. It's known as the Four Corners. It gets that name because you've got Lake, Orange, Osceola, and Polk counties all coming together in one place. And depending on whether you take a step to the left or a step to the right, you could be in a brand new county, perhaps not know exactly who's in charge of what and who you got to reach out to if you want to get something fixed or just to find your way around. As Stephanie Rodriguez reports, there's a new website that hopes to clear up a little of that confusion.
The Four Corners Task Force has created a website to help people figure out which local government they fall under so they can get the resources that they need.
What's it like living in a place that's on the intersection of 4 different counties?
It's kind of weird because, you could be in one county and then right across the street there's another county.
Considered a census-designated place or an unincorporated community without a legal government or boundaries, navigating local services in Four Corners can be difficult.
When you first moved here, was there any confusion about which county you are in?
Yes.
Originally, when we did get here, we were doing tax stuff and stuff. They kept saying that we were in Lake County. We're like, no, we're Polk County. And well, then there's, Orange County.
To help the nearly 60,000 residents who call it home know which county is responsible for their public services, the Four Corners Task Force created this, a new online address tool. This is what the website looks like. All you need to do is put in your location, and then it'll show you your location as well as relevant links to many county services like the tax collector, property appraiser, or the school district. Residents who've had to figure it out alone think this will be very beneficial.
Perfect. That's perfect because, there is a lot of confusion and there's a lot of elderly people that live here. So that would be a benefit to them too.
I think that would be great because you can actually find your resources that you're looking for.
We have a link to that website at clickorlando.com. I'm your Osceola County community correspondent, Stephanie Rodriguez, News 6.
All right, so Halloween, as we mentioned at the top of the show, is right around the corner. Well, next month, end of next month, I should say, usually is. But the thing about this Halloween is tariffs are going to drive the price of just about everything up. A lot of companies, when they saw the new tariff regime coming into place, started buying as much as they could, storing it basically to lock in lower prices before the tariffs actually hit. The problem with Halloween costumes and Halloween accessories is that most of them are dependent on kind of what the mood is, and they can't really be made or stockpiled that far out in advance. So a lot of these companies have been importing them over the last couple of months, and at the same time, well, they're eating that tariff cost. Some of them eating the cost, most of them though passing it on to consumers who are going to get a bit of a fright when they go to get that costume. As Omar Villafranco explains, the tariffs are spooking several people here in September.
Spooky season has hit retail stores. And the most frightening thing on the shelf for Halloween shoppers might be the price tag.
Flapper, Gatsby parties.
Derek Kennedy owns Magic Etc. Fort Worth Costume in North Texas. From masks and makeup to costumes, the Halloween season accounts for at least 25% of his yearly sales. This year, Kennedy says the tariffs have had a terrifying effect, like slower shipping times and higher wholesale prices.
Most of the costumes are made overseas, and through the different manufacturers, the tariffs have ranged anywhere from 5% to 19%. There's been not a steady one.
The National Retail Federation expects Halloween spending to hit a record $13.1 billion this year, breaking the previous record of $12.2 billion.
We've seen actually a big focus on discount stores this year. People are aware of what's going on with tariffs, and they're going to invest in what's important to them, but they're also going to be very smart with their money.
There's disco ones, there's leprechaun ones, there's Easter ones.
Kennedy is trying a new trick, treating his loyal shoppers to low prices by absorbing most of the cost of tariffs.
Even though there was a surcharge at the bottom of an invoice of $300, $500, $700 sometimes, I kind of ignored it this year and just tried to price like normal because, people only have so much money to spend.
Are you eating it?
Yeah.
But for some items like fog machines, the price jump is just too big for Kennedy to take on.
I hate to say it, but this machine last year at the same time was $58.
This one right here?
Yes, and now it's $74.
Early shopper Nicole Ruiz says tariffs won't put a damper on her Halloween.
You can be scary, you can be beautiful, you can be funny, and I think it's just a great time for everybody to celebrate.
The National Confectioners Association says Americans spent more than $7 billion on Halloween candy last year, and that trend looks to continue, but the prices will be a little bit higher. If you're the house on the block that hands out the full candy bars, a 48-count box was around $40 last year, but now it's well over $50, so plan accordingly. Omar Villafranca, CBS News, Fort Worth, Texas.
Oh, man, I'm going to have to put together my costume and not looking forward to paying for that. I did notice the other day, I like to buy, Walmart sells like French bread, loaf of French bread. It used to be $1. I was in there the other day, it's $1.49. I suddenly felt like myself turning into my dad being like, hey, these prices. Anyway, all right. I mentioned at the top of the show with Michelle Morgan these 6 things to do. Every week, she's kind enough to give us a little sprinkling of what's going on across Central Florida. And here's this weekend's 6 things to do.
I'm meteorologist Michelle Morgan. Do you like to write? Ever thought about publishing a book? Well, I've got the perfect event for you. The Mount Dora Book Expo kicks off on Saturday. I spoke to the event organizer about what you can expect.
So the discussion panel is really geared more towards people who are into writing and want to get their book out there, whereas the rest of the expo is really just for people who love books and want to enjoy new books and win prizes.
It's a free indoor event at Donnelly Park. Check out PJ's farewell party at the Central Florida Zoo this Saturday from 9 a.m. through 3 p.m., celebrating PJ's departure. Don't miss this special day filled with memories, education, and rhino appreciation. Remember to stay hydrated. Fall Festival at Amberbrook Farm starts Saturday and runs through November 2nd. Pick pumpkins, sunflowers, zinnias, and enjoy the petting zoo and pony rides. Tickets are around $18 online. A few showers are possible. Start the spooky fun early. Legoland Brick or Treat begins Saturday with Halloween fun, candy, and a drone show. Don't forget your costume. Hollow Scream at SeaWorld runs this weekend through November 1st, filled with unexpected horrors. For mature audiences only, costumes are not permitted. Looking ahead to next Friday, WWE SmackDown is coming to Orlando. We had the opportunity to interview WWE superstar Nia Jax.
Bring a friend. There's always going to be somebody who is like a wrestling skeptic, and then they show up to the show and they're like, I'm in love with it, I'm hooked, because there's something for everybody in the WWE.
Those are your 6 things, and of course, if you have a fun event happening in your town, send it my way. I'm getting all of these fun events from viewers like you. You can head over to clickorlando.com or a new 6 app. Just click contact us.
All righty, Kathleen. Well, I did. You know where PJ's going, our Rhino for Rhino Appreciation Day. You know where PJ's headed?
No, where?
Buffalo.
Okay.
He's going to Buffalo. He is going to go to Buffalo. Apparently the Bills had an opening on the offensive line, and there's no rule in the NFL about using a Rhino. They're going to trot him out there, and I say go for it.
You know, why not? Why not?
He's going to Buffalo Zoo. He's not going to play, but yeah, he's going to the Buffalo Zoo. Part of the kind of, obviously rhinos are endangered, and so trying to species survival program. He'll go up there and hopefully help make other little rhinos so we can keep the species alive and thriving. So if you get a chance to go to Sanford this weekend, you can say bye-bye.
Yeah, to PJ. I was wondering where he was going. So glad you figured that out.
Yeah. So anyway, I don't know that I'm going to get up there to say goodbye to him, but he watches the show. He'll know we said goodbye here.
I'm sure. We wish you well, PJ.
We wish you well. Rhinos are very nearsighted, so if he is watching the show, he's going to have like the screen within 3 inches of his eyes.
Okay.
But it's a demographic we don't really cater to much here at News 6 is the rhino demographic, and we should.
Yeah, we should.
It's a missed opportunity for the people on the second floor selling ad time.
Okay. I'll keep that in mind when I'm picking stories. Need to get the rhino demographic.
I often wonder, Kathleen, how much you sit there as I'm rattling on and you think, what the hell is he even talking about? Did he just say ad time for rhinos?
Right. Sometimes when you get into the law professor mode, my eyes are just like, I can't keep up with this.
I was told there would be no quiz. I'm sorry. So anyway. Well, you didn't like my explanation of the FCC and bandwidth scarcity?
Well, no, it was very interesting. I think I need to take your class because I think I forgot some of the stuff that I learned back when I took media law.
Well, I update it every semester because there's so much happening. I mean, right. From First Amendment stuff to defamation to some of the regulation, it's constantly changing. So yes, please, Tuesdays and Thursdays, 3:00, UCF.
Well, I could probably make that too.
Yeah. All right. Okay. Well, speaking of UCF, go Knights. They're taking on North Carolina. The Tar Heels will be coming to the Bounce House. Bill Belichick, fresh off of coaching in the NFL, will now be coaching college. So he will be bringing the Tar Heels to the bounce house, hopefully to go home with a loss at the hands of Scott Frost and the UCF Knights. There it is. Okay. Anyway, Kathleen, have a fantastic weekend. I will see you back here on Monday. We'll do this all over again. And thank you for watching. As I said, we'll be back on Monday. We'll do this again. And you know what? We always break news 24/7 on clickorlando.com. So you can go there for your updated forecast and everything, as well as download our apps, et cetera, et cetera. You know the spiel, but thank you for watching. We'll be on the air today starting at 4 o'clock. Otherwise, I'll see you back here at 12:30 on Monday. Have a great weekend.